that person looking at me is Sid Smith. He's in a space capsule orbiting the Earth, and I'm here several hundred miles below the Earth's surface in my action cave. And what we're talking about today is episode 24 of Idiot Wind, our bluster through Dylan Vinyl, the definitive collection. And unfortunately, that means that this week we're talking about Real Live, Bob's 1984 live album, rushed out for Christmas with little success. We didn't mention this last time, but we also get the magazine with this. As you can see, a wonderful picture from the front of the album there. And what's the? It's a picture of Bob inside there. I wonder where that's from. Shall we have a look where that's from? Oh yes, it's that picture on the inner sleeve. So they've done some real good picture research there as usual, and the usual fabulously detailed and extensive content inside the magazine. So what do we know about this? Well, this was in the tour to promote Infidels, the last album we spoke about. Well, Sid's a big fan of Infidels, whatever he says. And this is the band he took on the road. Mick Taylor is there from the album, which is great because that means someone who played on the album with Bob is actually in the band. Unfortunately, no one else who played on the album is with him. So he's got Colin Allen on drums, Greg Sutton on bass, and Ian McLagan on keyboards from the Faces. And I think they're very ordinary indeed, this band. What did you think?
Well, I thought the album overall, I didn't mind it. I thought
really,
I thought it was
you're a contrary Mary, aren't you? You're just a pervert when it comes to Bob Dylan.
I respond to the what I try to do.
Yeah.
I don't always successfully achieve this, but I try to listen to the albums. I try to listen to the albums with as an open ear as possible.
Well, that's quite easy for you because you've never heard most of them.
Given we all have our prejudices, etc., and just in case, for the avoidance of doubt, I'm not much of a Bob Dylan fan, but
really.
So when I heard this one, I was, I didn't. My expectations were not high, but I, played it through, and it's Bob Dylan as spectator sport, and that's understandable. The crowd are very lively, but that's actually a good thing. I think often the performances. Bob's performance in particular at least has the benefit, unlike say Infidels, where Bob just sort of ghosts in and ghosts out. At least here he sounds like he's actually performing. Not all of it works. Some of it I see was recorded in Newcastle on that tour.
2 tracks.
Yeah, and Tombstone Blues indeed has Carlos Santana on it, because I think they were sharing the bill with Santana.
And Bob and Carlos are pals as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Carlos Santana really adds anything to it, but
he doesn't really.
No, he doesn't. But fair shakes for him turning up. I thought broadly speaking, it's not something that I'd probably willingly listen to again if I was able to exercise a choice. But I will say, given the choice between Infidels and Real Live, I would choose Real Live all day long, because at least it has a sense of there's a bit of adrenaline in the thing. There's a bit of a performance going on. And so for me, that's the other side of it is, I suppose, to be critical about it. I mean, on the one hand, you've got a tangible air of excitement, certainly from the crowd, and on the other hand, there's a tangible air of adequacy, I guess. from the band. You know, there's not much for them to do, but they do it fairly ordinary and well enough, you know. Yeah, so I didn't mind it from that perspective. If I had the opportunity to not listen to it again, I would probably grasp that opportunity with both hands, and indeed probably will grasp that opportunity with both hands.
Well, I would agree with you on that last point, and I'd much rather listen to Infidels than this. I mean, I find the rhythm section very ordinary on this. Yeah. Performance is quite ordinary of the old war horses like Highway 61 and Maggie's Farm. One thing I do like on this album is the acoustic songs.
Yeah,
I like when Bob sings "It Ain't Me, Babe" and the crowd joins it. Wembley Stadium, you know. So
yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah, and also the version of "Tangled Up in Blue" on this.
Yeah,
is fantastic. Bob changes nearly all the words bar 3 verses of that song. This is a almost completely rewritten lyric, and this is one of several rewritten lyrics. But it's fascinating to hear him do that in front of such a big audience. He changes almost every line of the song, and it's not like he's forgotten them; he's rewritten them, and that is really odd and extraordinary thing he does. And I think it's great to have this alternative version. I mean, I still love the version on the other tracks, an album your views have become notorious about, Sid. But Tangled Up in Blue is a highlight of this album that I think dwarfs the rest of it. I quite like Girl from the North Country as well. But I agree with you, the Tombstone Blues, which is a great song. I mean, last year he did Shadow Kingdom, his film, and he did a completely rearranged, stripped down Tombstone Blues that made that song really come to life and life to me. And it was almost like a totally acoustic, very basic arrangement, almost like a recitation of the lyric. This version does nothing for me, really. It's just a bluesy trudge, isn't it? But I think the potential in that song is unrealized in this version. But overall, I think this is a bit of a make-weight release, and it's just it. If you're going to do a Bob Dylan live album, maybe give us the whole thing. It's produced by Glyn Johns, incidentally. Which again, it sounds okay, but I don't think. When I think of all the great tours he's done that have not been marked in this way, I wonder why this one was. And the answer is it'll be a cheap way of putting an LP out for the Christmas market, and I don't think it was a great success on that heading at all. But okay, my favourite track is Tangled Up in Blue. What's yours?
I knew. Off the top of my head, I need to sort of probably revisit some of it. But the one where the crowd are singing the lyrics, is that
It Ain't Me, Babe?
Yeah, I thought that was all right.
That is atmospheric. It does give you some flavour of what it was like to be there.
I did think that maybe what they could do is just employ the crowd to do the vocals, like an early bit of crowd.
Right, Sid. Thank you for your comments on that one. I see where that's going. I'm trying to head you off at the pass there.
What's next?
What are we doing next time?
What's next in Bob Dylan: The Declining Years?
You keep calling it that. You said that in our last episode. Well, next episode is episode 25. We should get a silver watch or something, shouldn't we? And that'll be his stunning mid-80s studio album, Empire Burlesque.